Fae Watch.
Welcome back.
Now,
we're here.
I know that you can all sense something in the room in this virtual.
It's feeling feminine.
Yes. It's giving Erd. Wait, no, not Erd. It's giving Chthona. It's giving Chthona. We're in our feminine energy. Boy Boss is gone for the week. He's absconded to the Eternal City.
Classic boy leaving us to do all the work while he gallivants in an eternal city.
Exactly. Ciao, Roma.
Ciao, Roma, baby.
Ciao, William.
At least hopefully maybe he's doing, some research on the research that SJM did when she clearly made
Right.
the Asteri world based on Rome. But yeah, we will miss him, but not that much, honestly.
That's horrible.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I miss him constantly. Do you know how hard it is to now, not have Phoebe's papa here?
Yeah, her
To
stepdaddy.
help raise our child?
I know.
I'm, full single momming it this week.
I know, and I sense that he's, a really important presence for her.
Yes. Yeah. I actually think for me as well, I think he stabilizes, the family.
He also does bring that energy to the podcast as well. It must be said. He's our boy boss. He's the male and he's the leader of the podcast. And he kind of, sometimes he rules with an iron fist, but it's ultimately for our benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel let's take advantage of the fact that we could go pure chaos today.
Yeah. But we'll miss
Which
you,
will be
boy
great.
boss. But you'll be back next week.
Yeah. I also think, Rach, this is going to be funny because we might be in a little role switch situation here, you and I, dear friend.
And why is that? Is someone drinking some haterade?
I just feel like the haterade needed to be drank. And,
Wow.
Maybe some of us are ready to get our Iron Flame revenge on our usual haters who could be seen on video sobbing.
Oh, yeah, we should say. So we finished the book now.
Yeah, we did.
Time has passed. We've finished the book. Now, if you're a close subscriber to our Instagram and religiously, make sure you're on top of all of our stories, which you should be, you might have seen, I did kind of openly weep and sob at the end of the book.
That was so brave of you.
I know. I looked bad in that video, too. That was not a cute video. I was really in my feels. I knew, and let's just say, okay, for right now, spoilers for the end of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Bryce died, I knew that obviously, it's
Right.
SJM, she's coming back, but I couldn't help it.
8 other people have come back. Obviously, Bryce
I couldn't help it. I was openly sobbing. I honestly don't even know why. And my boyfriend came in and found me, and I was just sobbing. And he's like, she's going to come back. And I was like, I know, but still, I don't know.
Which was, I would just say, a little bit different than my experience of finishing the book, which was me, tossing my Kindle across a room and storming out to Will and being like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And he was, calmly sitting there, reading his book and drinking his tea,
Yeah.
yes, I see. So anyway, we shall explore. Let's explore those differences.
Yeah, but I do want to say, obviously, we're going to explore them, but obviously, you are going to retain your joie de vivre, right?
Yes, always. Yeah. A girl can't get rid of her joie de vivre that easily. And there's also one of my favorite, there's some good shit in this ep, which we shall be discussing.
Okay, good.
Henceforth.
And I just want to make clear, and I've been seeing online, I've been seeing the takes. I honestly, it's hard because now that we have a podcast, I mean, listen, I read some of the takes, okay? I can't help it. But I have been trying to keep myself sort of clean from the takes because, I want I need to bring my authentic, uninfluenced opinion. So I haven't been totally reading them, but I've been seeing them, at least the headlines of the takes, that a lot of people didn't like this book. I just want to say I had fun, okay? I had fun.
Yeah. And I think, one can have mixed takes. It is an 800-page book. We can feel many things and think many things throughout. And That's allowed, bitches, you know?
That is allowed, bitches.
Okay, should we start?
Let's
and I
start.
am going to start with something that annoys the fuck out of me. I am going to be honest.
Okay, great. Take it away. Take us in.
Okay, let's start with our JV boys.
Okay.
Who, as we remember, are like kind of stuck with the Viper Queen, kind of like being held by her. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And Ithan has somehow agreed to a fight to the death with a random person who was going to be the dragon, but actually JK. It's Siggy, the lost Fendir heir who he like rescued and has been like trying to take care of. Mm-hmm. But now he has to fight her to the death. And instead of being like, no, I'm not going to do that. Hey, why don't like the 5 of us just try to escape the Viper Queen? He's like, oh no, now I guess I have to do this fight to the death, even though I don't really want to.
Right.
Cool. Great thinking all around. Anyway, like, he ends up killing her by like accidentally ripping out her throat when like she dodges left, but he thinks she's gonna dodge right, and we get an accidental throat rip out.
Right.
Which, by the way, I guess it was a deeper throat rip out than the one that Ithan had to deal with last book, because Ithan healed from his throat rip out in like 2 days. But I guess he really went hard on this throat rip out because Siggy's dead.
Yeah, she is dead.
And then obviously all these JV boys are just like wrapped in like guilt of like not being able to do anything and not being able to save anybody, and they're like, this doesn't help, this just like ups the guilt for like Ithan, for Therian,
right,
etc., etc. Fine.
They're spiraling.
But then it's like, yeah, everybody's spiraling, but like now the Vibe Queen is like, okay, I guess you did what I said, which I don't really understand why. Maybe she wanted to be in like Sabine's good graces.
Yeah, no, I guess that must be it, but otherwise we don't know the motivation.
Her motivations are unclear, except for the fact that like she always wants to be in a cute jumpsuit and like have her cigarettes handy.
Right.
So they are allowed to then go to this car that the Vibe Queen has set up for them to like get to the ocean, to go to the depth charger, to like figure out how to help save Rune and Hunt and Baxian. So they go do that. They get in the car. They almost forget the sprites, which I'm like,
rude.
First of all, Flynn, how could you ever almost forget the sprites?
Literally, what the
luckily,
fuck?
Yeah, they like fly in the car window at like the last minute. Actually, so cute because they like nestle into the cup holders.
In the cup holders,
which was so cute. I was like, that is the perfect detail. Like, that is the detail that I want. They're just like lounging, you know? But They also are like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And the boys are like, what did you just do? And this is why you need the girlies, because the girlies were like, you think we were getting out of there without setting this bitch on fire. They set the meat market on fire because that's what they do. They're fire sprites. Right. And it's really cute and they cause havoc. And then the boys like ride off into the sunset to go to the boat.
Yep.
They get to the boat, but then Ithan, obviously, this is like the second time this has happened. I like get such deja vu because he's like, I can't go with you. I have to stay in Crescent City.
Yeah.
To make it right. And like he's on his...
To further fuck everything up.
Exactly. Right. And so... he does this again, and this is like multiple times, I will say, in this book where I was like, didn't Ithan already do this? Like, it feels like it's like following a similar pattern to last time. But anyway, he stays. He's like sad wolf boy, like goes off to figure out what's happening, and other JV boys get on the boat. We're going to circle back to other JV boys who maybe step it up a little bit.
Okay.
But Ithan takes his little wolf self to the House of Flame and Shadow. Mm-hmm. Which is fun because we've never seen it before. And turns out it's not like a little stinky dungeon. It's actually like a kind of like cool, hip, like members only club.
It is, dare I say, the Soho House of Flame and Shadow.
It is for sure giving like bloody Soho House. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like vamps there chilling. There's a jazz quartet. There's like a co-working space. There's like an obsidian bar. Like it is...
I loved it.
High class.
I loved it. And I just know, and I knew it from that moment. I'm like, SJM, either a member of Soho House or a member of the RIP The Wing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, she was writing her experience.
Yeah, different color scheme than The Wing.
Right.
But, like, the vibes are there.
Right.
And I also had a moment where it's like, we really don't spend any time with vamps in this world. But it's like, we remember our feelings about vamps sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, I'd end up on a date here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would. I'd say yes to that, like, consequences be damned.
Oh, yeah. You got to. You got to try it.
You got to. But anyway, Ithan doesn't like partake in any of that fun. He does go find Jessica and basically begs her to help him get a necromancer to raise Siggy from the dead.
Yep. There is no problem for which Ithan will not seek a necromancer first and foremost. Like, babe, we got to try something else. We got to get something else.
Ithan has like one strategy, and it's like, let's necromance the shit out of this problem that I caused myself.
Right.
Yeah, but Jessica's like, maybe, but can you like pack up all these boxes for me in the meantime and like do some manual labor? So then somehow Ithan is like doing an internship.
His 18th internship. Like, this man, Wolf, loves an internship.
Dude, he's been on rotation. He's been like a part of the like, you know what I mean? The like Crescent City, like Young Leaders Fellowship.
Exactly.
Where he like rotates.
Yeah.
Who he's serving. So listen, that's where we leave him for a little while. And we'll see, you know, what happens. I'm sure like he's just gonna like find himself and everything's gonna be great.
Oh yeah. I think things are finally turning around for him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He's like filing things away using Bryce's old computer, by the way, which like, oh God, I forget what the password was, like obviously something so silly.
Right.
And Bryce, it was like, what was her little baby Pegasus's name? It was like Jelly Jubilee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of our wee Fae Queen, let us world walk for a hot moment.
Okay.
And go back to Prythian.
Prythian.
Listen, we are still in a cave.
We are still in a cave. Yep.
We're still in a cave, and we are still watching a YouTube video in the cave.
Yeah.
It's like a holographic, you know what I mean? Like Michael Jackson's back, but like by Michael Jackson, I mean like Celine, you know, kind of thing.
Yep.
And Bryce is like getting all this information, which is like kind of helpful, but not that helpful. They see the Fae, like basically like from Throne of Glass. Like Bryce is like, oh wow, like these are different Fae. They see Parthos, which looks cool. That was like the city of like learning with the humans and the libraries. It's like, that's kind of fun. What else? We see a little bit of like Thea and Adis's love story, which like, you know, obviously they're both like, well, Adis is good, but Thea, I guess, like, kind of sucks. But it's still kind of cute because she's like, when I figured out how to open this portal, like, it went right to him. And, like, that's because, like, our souls could find each other across galaxies because we're mates.
They're mates. That's
and
cute.
I liked that.
Yeah.
And I thought, you're evil, but that's cute.
Yeah.
So then we get lots of like kind of, I guess, important stuff, which is that like Thea, they're like fighting this battle. They're losing. Thea gives each of her daughters like a third of her star power.
Yep.
And tells them to leave. But Helena stays to fight, I guess, in Midgard, but then kicks Celine back to Prythian. And Celine, instead of like helping any of the people who are like begging her to help, she just kind of like pieces the fuck out.
Yeah, she seals, you know, the portal is sealed and she can hear people banging it on the other side being like, please, my children. And she's like, well.
Yeah. Please, sir, help me.
Please.
And she's like, no.
She's like, ugh.
And then Celine's like, I know what to do to like help avenge people. I'm going to erase this story from the memory of my people.
Famously, the correct thing to do after atrocities have been committed is to erase
the history.
Erase the history, but also like hide it deep in a cavern to be rediscovered by the right person one day, ?
Right. And like kind of try to ensure that happens by like only telling like your one son about this stuff, but like not really do anything else to like ensure that it happens. But, you know, she did do a lot to protect her own ass.
Yes.
That is for damn sure.
Yeah, which Bryce et al. Are clocking. They're like, all right, babe. Yeah. Like, okay.
No, there's like a moment where like Bryce like spits on like her memory or whatever. And it's like, fair. Like, she was a little selfish queen. But she does, I guess, curse the Dawn Court and make it become the prison and, like, bring some of the evil creatures from, like, the middle there to, I guess, like, hide something that we'll find in a moment.
Right.
She marries a High Lord of the Night Court, which is why, I guess, like, she kind of, like, looks like Reese and Rune or something.
Yes.
Also, I lulled at this because there was this moment where it was, like, all the other High Lords had High Ladies, but, like, I refused because, like, I saw what power did to my mother and, like, I wanted none of it. And I was like, bitch, so you also then started the tradition wherein it was only a High Lord and no High Lady?
Right.
That was also you?
She's like,
you also did that?
Yeah. She's like, I know what's going to fix this. Like, I'm going to be a trad wife.
Right. Like, I'm going to be on that farm. I'm going to be making honey. I'm going to be giving birth. I'm not going to be empowered. Like, great. Yes. And she's, like, acting like she's a martyr for doing that. So I'm like, cool. Fine.
Right.
Anyway, I guess they finished the YouTube video. There's, like, you know, old Celine being like, I hope I have avenged myself. And it's like, actually, no, you didn't. Fine.
Right.
But all of this makes Az and Nesta realize that the horn, which they learned about, is in Bryce's back. And that, like, she's a liability because anybody would be able to, like, use her tramp stamp to travel into Prithian and, like, take them over again. So they're like, we got to get a hold on this tramp stamp. You got to come to Reese. Obviously fear that Bryce is like, I don't really know about that. What if I don't?
Right.
And there had been all this, like, vague shit about, like, Celine, like, leaving her inheritance in the stones. And so Bryce is like, oh, there's magic here. And she, like, puts her little hand down and, like, sucks it up with her hand.
Yeah.
So now she's, like, fucking really leveled up. She's got, like, 2 stars, basically.
Yeah.
Or 2/3 of a star.
And it's, like, different.
Yeah. It's actually kind of cool because she's like, it's different, but it's, like, definitely still mine.
Yeah.
In the way that, like, when somebody charges me up, it's, like, not mine forever. It's, like, kind of molding together. Which we love. Anyway, then they, like, have this kind of, like, almost battle where, like, they're not really trying to hurt each other, but they are, like Bryce is, like, making the mountain put rocks up or whatever to, like, stop them. And then it's, like, too many rocks and, like, the floor crumbles and they fall into, like, a secret cavern.
Yes.
So now we're in the cave, we're beneath the cave, we're beneath the cave of the cave, we're beneath the cave of the cave of the cave. Okay?
Right, exactly.
We're in the basement of all basements.
Yeah.
Obviously here we have a crystal fucking sarcophagus with a dark-haired beauty in it.
Gorge.
Which they're like, oh, okay, I guess the whole there's evil here thing is true. Fine. She's asleep. She wakes up. She doesn't really have a lot of manners because she keeps being like, release me, slave. She can, like, smell the trove on Bryce and Nesta. Fine. There are all these theories, by the way, that I've, like, seen on the Tiki-Talkies about, like, maybe she's Maeve. Maybe she's, like, a Vogue. But they seem pretty convinced that she's an Asteri.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like to me because that's what they said she was. But
right. Exactly.
Listen.
So who knows? Not us.
Right.
Side note, Az is, like, holding the Star Sword here, which, as we know, like, nobody really is, like, able to do. And so there's all, like, these questions about, like, who he is again.
Right. And she was like, does he have, did she say, like, oh, does he have star?
Right.
Is he Starborn? Or somebody asked that. And then we get back into that fraught territory. Are they related? But
right. And are they distant enough?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but questions are raised.
Yes.
About who he is. But then there's, like, not a lot of time to get those answers because then they have to do the whole villain monologue convo.
Right.
Which is funny. I'm kind of glad we don't have Boy Boss here because she's like, is life so bad under our rule that, like, you must always defy us? And we know Boy Boss has answered that question. He'd be like, yeah, you know what? It's not that bad. Sometimes you do have to pay taxes. But there's no one here to be pro-Asteri today.
Right. And if he were here, he might also say, like, what did she say? I think it was Little Miss Asteri said to Bryce, like, oh, well, the Fae only have problems with, like, predatory shit when it's, like, affecting you. But otherwise, you don't care. And it's like, well, yeah. Right. I mean, I guess like, Bryce cares about humans and stuff, but mostly true.
Right. Like, not wrong.
And again, R.I.P. in memory of Boy Boss. I'm going to have to say, again, we eat meat. Oh, yeah, we do eat meat. So,
yeah.
Fair. I don't know that any of us, I mean, maybe some of the listeners, I applaud any vegans, but I'm not sure that we're any better. But continue.
Yeah, but basically, you know, we've done the villain monologue thing. We know how it goes. The new, like, our little sleeping beauty, Asteri girly, is kind of buying herself time to like suck up some secret first light that I guess is beneath the mountain. I guess the Asteri like left little like pockets of power that they could like slurp up when they need a little snack. It's like when you go on a road trip and you're like, best have snacks, and like every like,
oh yeah, they squirrel them away. Yep.
Right, exactly. Have them in different jacket pockets for like when you need them. And it's like, I get that. I actually empathize with that a lot. The Asteri did that like under like all the little mountains. And so the Asteri like sucks up some power. And so then it's like, oh shit, are we actually going to be able to kill her now? Who knows? But they end up killing her anyway.
Yeah. And I was kind of confused because ultimately Ataraxia kills her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Star Sword and stuff and the dagger like can't. But I don't know how Ataraxia can, but...
I mean, I guess good to know that Ataraxia can just, like, hack off an Asteri and it works.
Yeah. Another little nugget that we got about Daddy Az origins is the Asteri sees the dagger and is like, oh, did you get that from Anelius?
Yeah.
Anelius, a.k.a... we just learned about him in Akasif, the like, the hero from the first war.
He was like the warrior that like held the pass that then Nesta held when she was like on her Hunger Games journey.
Of the what's it called? The Illyrians.
The Ramiel.
Yeah, but the Illyrian. He's like the he's Illyrian. He's like one of the first or whatever. Or,
yeah.
Old
then
Illyrian.
It's like, does Az come from him? I mean, who amongst us knows?
Certainly not us.
Certainly not us.
But just a flag.
But anyway, so Bryce is like kind of mad at Nesta for killing the Asteri because she wanted to keep her alive to ask questions. But like, obviously that wouldn't have worked. But then like Nesta and Az are mad because like they still want Bryce to come back with them to Reese. And like, obviously she doesn't want to do that. So I'm kind of like, guys, I get it. I see both sides here. I see both sides. You need a mediator. I'll step in. We'll talk this through. It'll be fine. But that doesn't work. And instead, Bryce notes that the crystal sarcophagus is similar to the crystal in the Asteri's palace with the gates. And so she uses the crystal to make a portal. And hops herself through the little portal. So instead of going to a bar in Valeris, instead of getting her makeover montage, she just departs from the cave.
This is tough. This is real.
Tough.
This is the moment. This is the moment that we knew, our dreams were largely over.
Shattered.
And that was really fucking sad to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still not really over it. That was tough.
I don't know that I will ever be over it. And I will say, like, I do think a lot of people have said, like, this isn't an ACOTAR book. Like, people didn't like this book because it wasn't an ACOTAR book. I wasn't expecting it to be an ACOTAR book, but, like, I do think one could be able to have realistically expected more from the crossover.
Right.
Like, a couple more settings, a couple more characters. Not everything, not the whole time.
Yeah.
But I think that is a fair desire.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think we needed a little bit more. We certainly wanted it. We got a little greedy. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so guess where Bryce decides to world travel to? Out of all the worlds and all the places that she could go. Straight to Daddy.
Straight to Daddy.
Yeah.
Listen, Daddy issues never leave you, I guess.
No, they're always
She goes
there.
right to Daddy. He obviously puts his daughter in Gorsian shackles.
Yep, of course.
They spend a couple days like trying to get back and forth with questions and answers and like being kind of like assholes to each other.
Right.
He's being the bigger asshole because he does have her in Gorsian shackles and like took all the technology away and sent all the servants home so that he could like kind of hold her hostage. Even though like it is kind of safe for her since the Asteri do want to kill her, but she is being held hostage.
He does serve her roast chicken, thick slices of bread, and something else that I can't remember, but I do remember the other two off the top of my head because that's who I am.
No, it did sound good. It did sound good. And she does complain, and I think he does like Instacart her some like yogurt and like some other like snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible, but they are both trying to get information out of each other. Total side note, this is when we find out she was gone for 5 days.
Okay.
Like 500 pages later, she says something like, and that's when I knew I wasn't the same girl that was running through the, like, Asteri's hallways a week ago.
Okay.
That's chapter 95. We're on chapter, like, 25 right now.
Okay. So you're saying...
So I'm saying the timeline of this book makes literally no fucking sense, or maybe that was a typo.
Yeah.
Or, like, they needed to fix that sentence because she's in Prythian for 5 days. She spends at least one night, if not 2 nights, at the Autumn King's palace. Then they're, like, going back and forth to, like, multiple continents.
Okay, Gina. We get it. It's an error. Now, did you be honest? Did you realize this yourself?
I actually did, because I underlined when it was like she wasn't the girl she was a week ago. Okay. And I was like, what do you mean a week ago? Like, in my mind, this was like 6 months.
I mean, it's definitely been at least like 2 weeks. I mean, it's probably been more than that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just like, I wish this book took place over 6 months, because a lot of it would have like made more sense.
Yeah. I mean, the time.
If we just got more time to flesh things out. But anyway, I just wanted to point out to you, who again has made similar critiques about other books that some of us love. I just feel like you deserve to face the facts.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been negative about a book. I've never nitpicked a book in my life. Okay, actually though, I'm sorry. I don't want to be on the haterade train. I will say, and this is like sort of, obviously maybe we have to talk about it later in the book, but Daddy Autumn King, again, having now finished the book, it's like I know. The character development was not amazing.
I don't think we were wrong to like see and kind of hope for him to have a more complex character arc where like his information comes in handy, where he finds a way to like help them. And I think she like puts, in this book, in these conversations that Bryce and him are having, like he really does like only care about the Fae in the way that I think like Thea did. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I do think we were hoping for more from him. Although I will say, given that we had that whole thing in ACOTAR where like the dad was like a missing dad, and then like he came back with the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, like it's kind of fine when shitty dads are shitty dads. Like maybe that's true. More realistic.
No, that's true. That's a fair point. I just think there were nuggets. Even in this time when they're together, like, the one part where he's like, oh no, like I loved your mom, blah, blah, blah. Like he's
obviously very jealous of Randall, that like Randall got to like be her real dad. Like it's a complex feelings there for sure.
Yeah. And he like there were like little tiny like twinges of like, something. But then ultimately just like, nope.
Yeah.
But
okay, that's I guess fine. But I was hoping for more of like a surprise, like he knew this and he gave Bryce this piece of information, whatever.
Right.
She does get some information out of him, including that he knows something about the sword and the knife and like them opening a portal to nowhere. But like, of course, these ancient texts are in Avalon, and it's like the girlies aren't allowed there. So like, you can't go.
Right.
Because like only boys can read ancient texts.
Exactly.
So anyway, she's stuck there, which again, I'm just like, Bryce is like such like an out and about girly, Right. Like she's out in the town. She's got nail appointments to make. She's got clubs to go to. She's got dresses to put on. And it's like, poor girl. Like, I guess she does kind of get some jeans to put on and like a little like sweater or something. Yeah. But she's been like so confined.
Yeah. She loves rootin' and tootin' around town. You're right. So this is hard.
Not a lot of rootin' or tootin' going on here. Mm-hmm. Switching gears.
Okay. Switched.
Back to boys. But we got to get to our varsity boys.
Okay.
Who I'm calling our tortured honeys.
Tortured honeys.
Yeah. So our tortured honeys are having a time. Mm-hmm. I guess Bryce definitely is in a better position than them because they are in a dungeon actively being tortured to the point that they're trying to escape via having Baxian chew off Rune's hand.
Right. Yeah.
So that he could get it out of the shackles. So, they did that and they're kind of in a bad place because one of them just had their hand bitten off and one of them had to bite off said hand.
Right.
When Rigulus shows up, he's doing his rounds, his like little evil man rounds. Mm-hmm. And he comes down to the dungeon and he's like, okay, Hunt, like, let's do a little eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like, which of your friends do you want to die?
Yeah. Unless you give me a little bit of your lightning.
Right. Yeah. He wants Hunt's lightning. And I guess Hunt ends up giving it to him because he tells him that he won't kill one of his friends. But then it's like, ha ha ha, evil boy, little teenage immortal boy is like going to kill one of your friends anyway. Mm-hmm. Total side note, interesting to me that they can get the lightning out even though he has the Gorsian shackles on.
Right. Yeah.
There are like a couple of like, oh, it's like they have Gorsian shackles on, but moments in this.
Yeah, like they had to like squeeze it, pull it out. Yeah. But yeah.
Ooh, which I guess does hurt him.
Yeah.
So Riggy makes a little crystal battery with his lightning, and it's like, damn, that's not going to be good.
No.
For our saving grace, finally, we're here. Lidia.
Thank God.
Thank God. Listen, someone's got a fucking plan. Someone knows what's going on. Someone's thinking 3 steps ahead. Someone's like hot as fuck and hopefully about to be part of like one good romance storyline in this finale of a text. So, you know, if we remember, Lidia was using her period to manipulate her like evil angel fake boyfriend, which perfect. Perfect, no notes.
Queen.
She gets a med witch potion to speed up Hunt and Baxian's wing healing and frames it to Pollux as like, oh, like when you cut off their wings, like you took them out of play. Like, don't you want to like cut them off again? Like, let's heal them, like blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like good, like high key, good manipulation there. We love it. She tries to tell tortured honeys the plan, but they're all like kind of like passed the fuck out from being tortured.
Right.
She's getting the pieces of her plan in place. She goes back to Erithis, the Sprite Queen, whom we love.
Yes, we love.
They trick the Imperial Hag into taking her collar off, so she gets, you know, her full firepower back. Lidia had promised not to kill the Hag. She's like, I promise I won't kill you. And then they give Erithis her power back, and she's like, Erithis? And then the Queen just fucking melts the Hag into ash, which was so fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was like your classic, like, Faye. Like, I said I wouldn't kill you, but I didn't say my new friend here wouldn't.
Got him.
Got him, baby. Just 2 girlies committing murder. It's what we love to see.
Yeah, 2 girl bosses.
Yeah. And then Lidia needs the Sprite Queen to burn her badly enough that it, like, looks real so that, like, the Erithis can escape and go be part of the plan. So she does that. Here's my question, though. Genuine question. Aelin couldn't be burned by fire, right?
Oh.
Like, I'm genuinely kind of like, is the Sprite fire different? Is this a little bit of a misstep here? Like, I would have assumed that Lidia, who we will talk about more, her power is more later on, but maybe, I don't know, they have something to do with fire since she kept appearing covered in fire, that she wouldn't be able to be burned.
I think, we're going to give, obviously, as we always do, we're going to give the author the benefit of the doubt. And we're going to say, famously, we always do.
Haterade glass down for a moment.
Yeah. We're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But no, I think maybe we could say that, like, her power hasn't been undampened yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's still, like, buried deep within or something.
So, yeah.
Sure.
No problem, Dina. Nice try.
Fine.
Try
I
again.
I really don't want to hate on our girlies here. Like, this is giving me life the whole time.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. Quick, you know, turn to Hunt, who, like, wakes up from his, like, torture stupor to have a little chat with Adis. Points to Hunt here because he does a quick fact check to make sure it's actually Adis and not Riggy.
He's learning.
And, like, he's learning. And, like, the fact that he's able to, like, maintain, you know, enough sense in his brain to ask that when, like, I can't think of what to do when I haven't had coffee in the morning. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, I actually give you credit there, Hunt.
Yeah.
There.
Wow. Well, that's...
Look at me.
We got that recorded, people.
I'm growing too.
Wow.
So Dina said one good thing about Hunt. Mark that shit down.
Wow.
Anyway, Adis obviously is on his, like, let's say vague shit about, like, your dad and your powers train. And, like, we don't get any real answers yet. I think we talk about them when we actually get them.
Yeah.
But it's, like, unclear. But he's the one who tells Hunt, like, hey, they're probably going to use your lightning to try to resurrect the dead since your power is, like, similar to the Thunderbirds. Yeah. And also, by the way, they're going to kill your bestie Rune tomorrow. And then, like, he, like, scampers off in his little cat form. And it's like, okay, cool. I don't know how helpful that was. But, you know, they can't really do anything about it until the next day when, like, our little, like, evil angel crew that names all start with H's and the Dreadwolves come to take our boy toys to immortal teen evil boy Riggy, presumably for him to kill Rune.
Yep.
Kind of, like, silly and cute, this scene, which I wouldn't have expected when, like, they're taking them out of the, like, torture chamber and they, like, can't walk at all. And, like, it kind of seems like they're, like, drunkenly, like, leaving a club and they're, like, stumbling and they're like, can you take us to the elevator? Like, I don't think we can use the stairs. And they're, like, kind of, like, in hysteria laughing about it.
I know.
They do take them to the elevator. Elevator doors open. Who's fucking standing there in all her fucking glory?
Hotness.
The Hind, okay? It's Lidia, but, like, she is the Hind right now, right? Like, she has, like, her cold stare. She's in her little, like, hot outfit.
Yep.
and she's just kind of like running the show. So she's like, okay, bring him in. Like the Hawk, that guy is there. She's like, you come in and like room for 2 Dreadwolves, and like closes the door on Murdoch and is like, we'll see you up there. Like, be waiting. The door closes. The Hawk is like taunting Hunt and Rune and them for like being like unable to even like face the light or something because they've been fucking being tortured. And Hunt just goes, fuck you. And the Hind, who like hasn't moved a muscle, is just like, couldn't have said it better myself. And then unholsters her gun and fucking kills the Hawk and 2 Dreadwolves within like 4 seconds without moving like nay a muscle. Blam. And like having nay a second thought. Sick. Pew, pew. Obviously, all the boys like whip and they're like, what the fuck? And poor Baxian was not in the group chat about Agent Day and Agent Night and has no idea that the Hind is actually on the rebel side. So he's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, when did you become a rebel? She's like, we don't have time for this. We actually have 1 minute and 35 seconds to get to the car. And it's like, this is a fucking girl boss. This is what we want. She's got the plan down to the second. She's got the boys in line. She's telling them what to do. We do love. Okay. And you know what else we love?
What?
When storylines converge, when crews reunite.
Are we consolidating?
Dude, we're fucking consolidating, and it's like mid-chase, like, right? Like, they're like mid-escape. Okay, so they get to the car. They need to get to the coast because they got to get to the depth charger, right? It's like the one place where they're safe.
Right.
So Lydia's like driving this car. Guess who's on the radio? Declan's on the radio because he's moving the cameras. He's keeping an eye on where everybody is. He like goes, like, Rune gets on the phone. Rune's just like hysterical sobbing, and he's just like, I love you, which is correct. Like, your friend just showed up to save you. He's like crying. He's like, I love you. He's got one fucking hand. Like, poor guy.
I know.
Deck is like classic boy. He's like, tell me again in an hour. Like, let's get you out of here. Like, it's all perfect. Flynn and Deck, I guess, are in this like white van, like nondescript van, and they like pull up like alongside the car, right? Like, Flynn like opens the white van door. He's like, what the fuck happened to you? Rune is like sobbing again. He's like, we got this. Like, you guys go ahead. Like, it's everything you want in a car chase scene.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Everything is there. We got friendship. We got high speed. We got the Dreadwolves and like an aerial legion like coming after them. You know what else we got? Perfect. You can't have a chase scene without this. The gates to the city are closing. Closing. Are they going to make it? Barely fucking make it. It like chops off like the top like gunner part of the car because like they barely fucking make it. It's perfect. They also, Lidia, she's thought through multiple parts of this plan. She's got a distraction, okay? She sent Arithis to go fucking blow up the spine, which is like the major supply route. She got like the last like tiny few people who are left in
Ophion.
Fuck, what's it called? Orpheon. Yeah. Ophion. To go like they're blowing up the whole fucking supply route with like the Sprite fire when like they have been like, you know, slaves forever. It's like their moment of like revenge. It's incredible shit.
Love.
Like living. We're living, we're laughing, we're loving.
We are.
Okay? This whole time. Listen, they make it to the countryside. Okay? First of all, by the way, we're under the Tuscan sun here. We're in the Roman countryside. Like, there's fucking olive groves. We're like on a high-speed chase, but it's like beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Mediterranean. Like, we want to be there in a villa, but we are there on a high-speed chase. Okay?
Right.
Now, the Dreadwolves did also make it out of the city, obviously, and they're super fucking fast, and they're catching up. And it's like, we're not going to make it. But guess what? Lydia had thought this fucking far ahead because guess who has wings again?
The boys.
Baxi and Hunt.
Yep.
But obviously, they can't carry both of them. Rune can't, whatever. The wings aren't strong enough to get everybody out. But she's like, you take Rune. I'm going to go be the bait. Like, they're going to want me more. They're going to come after me more.
Yep.
So, like, they basically, like, one of them takes Rune's feet and one of them takes, like, his shoulders.
Yeah.
And, like, they, like, fly off. Rune is, like, screaming. He's, like, go back for her. I would say in, like, almost like a very, like, kind of, like, primal way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it almost sounds like it's, like, coming from, like, the depths of his soul in a way that, like, we might recognize.
Well, yeah, that. But by the way, you forgot to say...
Oh, I did not, baby. Go ahead.
Okay.
Give it to us.
Well, before they leave her, she turned into a deer.
Yeah.
And she nuzzles him.
Yeah. She does.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. It also, like, It makes me laugh because it, like, I think, again, back to obviously, like, you're thinking about Throne of Glass this whole time if you've read it, and, like, all the memes about when, like, Rowan, like, turns into the bird, and it's like they try to make it cute, but, like, he is kind of a bird.
Right.
It's like, the deer is, like, genuinely so cute, and, like, she's obviously, like, beautiful and, like, so fast, and she, like, sprints off, like, into the hills to go, like, try to get away, but, like, ultimately, like, sacrifice herself for him. But yeah, she nuzzles him.
Oh, and he's
We
like,
love
go back for her. We have
know.
to go back.
And he's, like, screaming as they're, like, flying away. And ultimately, I will say they do get to the depth charger, but Lidia finds her way up this cliff, and it's, like, sheer drop.
Yep.
And they're like, it's a death drop to the ocean. And the Dreadwolves catch up with her. They have a little back and forth. She's like, fuck you, like, kill me, and, like, launches herself off the cliff. They, like, shoot her. She's, like, dead.
Yep, she's dead.
Or is she?
Should we leave it a true, in the true sense of the word? Not quite, because she fell off the cliff. A cliffhanger?
True fucking cliffhanger.
When I was listening to this part of the book, I was listening to this part before bedtime, and, you know, it says, like, she jumps off and they shoot her and she laughs as she dies, and I was like, oh my God, I need to stop because I need to go to bed. But I was very sad.
It's like, no.
So I left it overnight, and then in the morning I was going through, like...
You left it overnight?
Yeah, because I was like, I can't, this make me too sad.
Wow.
And so the next morning I went through the 5 fucking stages of grief, let me tell you. And for what?
Wow, I did the opposite thing, which was when I was reading it, I was like, we're absolutely not following this in sequential order, because obviously it's like, you know, SJM does this cliffhanger, she falls off, she dies, and then it's like we have to check in with, like, every other character to, like, see what's going. We're, like, in the fucking, you know, at Ethan's internship again. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I fully, like, was like
flip ahead,
flipped until I saw her name again, and then it was, and then, well, you know, we'll get there, because we're gonna put the same, you know, put you guys through the same thing, even though, again, everybody already knows what happens, but it's fine. Yeah. But anyway, I fully was like, I'm not letting you do this to me, SJM. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back my power. I'm living in my truth.
Yeah.
But, like, I would say one of my favorite scenes in all the book was, like, this escape scene. Like, so good.
Yeah. No, that was high intensity, high emotion. That was good.
Anyway, I would like, before we go, to applaud myself for having a great ratio of haterade and enjoyment. And I think we did a great job.
And I join you in applauding you.
I was going to say, would you like to applaud yourself too?
Yeah. Why not? While we're at it, why not? You know,
I think, like, it's great. Like, our relationship is still intact. You know, we have a little sibling back and forth, but that's okay.
Yeah.
What else? We'll be back next week with more OBS. We'll have more mystery, more plot. You know, maybe some reunions.
Yep.
We shall see. But in the meantime, we love you. We'll miss you.
We will miss you.
Give us a shout.
Come
say hi. Honestly, if you're not, like, following us on Insta, where we have, like, descended into full, like, chaos, whatever's on our minds, like, goes on the story, like, come hang. It's honestly a great time for all.
Oh yeah, it's very chaotic. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's flirty.
Just like us.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon.
Take care.